network in the world, in the city, as a city. Okay, so we beat like Seoul and Tokyo, and Bangkok, whatever, London, whatever countries that you have. Singapore was #1. That means our upstream and downstream was the fastest. Now, infrastructure is so important because moving forward with big data, social media, everything is going to be, multiplied by many times. People are moving away from text. Now you're going to videos and so on. So your infrastructure must be solid and reliable. Okay. And so the short answer is yes, infrastructure is supreme and very, very important. Okay. I hope I've answered that question.
Okay. So I think we don't have answers to our question about the success factors. Okay, we have some answers here. Governance, infrastructure, laws and regulations. This is one answer. Any other answers to our question?
Okay.
Okay, so these are the answers: governance, infrastructure laws, and regulations. These are the critical success factors of digital government.
Yeah, we got one feedback there: governance, infrastructure, laws, and regulations. That's good. I mean, it's not wrong. See, yeah, it is important. Okay, let's. We also got another question coming in. So I think we do that. Another question last. Let us talk about the success factors first, and then I come back to the last. There's another question that asks about digital strategy. Okay. Okay. So I'm quite sure everybody has some in mind about what is the successful factors for digital strategy or digital government. And again, there's lots of books, lots of literature, with different, slightly different opinions. Okay, somebody mentioned about governance, laws, and regulations, and all that, and infrastructure, which is right as well. Okay, I just want to quickly share with you my thoughts about what are the successful factors. Okay, there are 5. Okay, so 5 important factors. Okay, the first one is governance. Governance is crucial. Again, any massive program or whatever has to come from the top, has to lead by the top, all the way down. All right. So governance is given. It is a must. You must have a governance. Your top leaders must know very well what digital government is all about. Okay. The second important point is to know is about government as a service. Okay. In terms of maturity level, when people move from e-government to digital government and so on, back in the old days, even now, sometimes you go to some countries and you see that people in authority in the government thinks that the government is king, is boss, and the citizens have to listen to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what is happening now is that government must be seen as a service. All right. It's very common, like you go in Europe, you have police as a service, the ambulance as a service, health service, education service, blah, blah, blah. Everything is a service. So same thing here as well. Okay, the thinking, the mindset must change. There's a paradigm shift now. The paradigm shift now says that now we are now providing service to our stakeholders, mainly the businesses and the citizens and visitors, tourists, blah, 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 and so on. All right, so this is an important point. Okay, the next one is what we call a plan. The government needs a very solid, robust, integrated strategy or plan. This will make sure that, together with solid governance, everybody knows what is happening. Everybody knows where's the direction, what is they expected to do, what are the expected outcomes. And this integrated strategy, the outcomes are not meant only for government, like I said, but are also seen from another perspective. That is the perspective of the citizens and the businesses as well, right? Okay. The fourth point is about capability. Now, capability is important and you need to optimize your capabilities and resources. So mainly these are your employees, citizens, and businesses, okay? We must empower them, we must train them, we must support them, make sure they are the best they can achieve, you know? So there is lots of training, skills upgrading, trying new things, and getting more experiences and so on. And finally, innovation or being innovative, doing things better, doing things differently, dare to take challenge and so on. This is innovation. It's difficult to teach, but I guess you understand. So to me, these are the 5 main successful factors, okay? All right, in short, let me summarize. Governance, governance and service, integrated strategy or plan, capability, and finally, innovative. All right, okay. Okay. Before I move on to the overview of government Singapore model, let me get back to, I think I owe some answers to some fantastic questions. One question here is that if many organizations define their digital strategy in isolation of business strategy, how can organization make digital strategy and business strategy come together or very tightly connected? Okay, if I can understand the question is that you know, how do we want to make the business strategy together with business strategy, or sometimes when they do things separate. Again, this is a culture change, and governance will help. A digital strategy in isolation to business strategies, the value of digital technologies, if you're not explained or not seen from the stakeholders, then it will be quite useless, okay? So the idea is that you must get the right people, get the governors coming in and drive this whole strategy, all right? And again, this is where you need, you know, if you learn from the Singapore government model, is that get different parties together. You have governance at the same time, get the joint committees, get things, ministries together, get them talking together, even private public partnership and so on, all right? Okay, so I hope I answered that question. All right. And there's one more question, and that is, what do you think the estimated time to transform the government to digital? And is there any ideal challenging time to start? Wow. Okay, yeah, interesting question. The time to start is now. Okay, no doubt about it. With the COVID-19, I'm quite sure government has started to do something with digital. So the answer, if you're not start, you are too late. Start now. How long will it take? It depends on the maturity level of the government. As you can see, it's an ongoing journey. So don't worry too much about how much time it takes. Identify the strategy. Normally strategy will be 3 to 5 years, doesn't matter. Start now and see how much you can work on it and achieve something. You know, so again, it's like stop to the previous question. A digital strategy has to address the business or the society problems. All right. So, okay, so do that and do that now. One more question that just came in. The question is, what do you think the estimated, okay, I have answered that question. Okay, yeah. If there's any more questions, if you can want to type in, please do it. Let me quickly just glance through. I think I have answered all the questions. Okay. All right, yeah. Okay, thank you all for the questions. All right, so going to move on now. And this is quite the main last topic before we go towards the Q&A. And I want to share with you the Singapore digital government model. All right. Okay. Tying with the last question, somebody asked is that when is a good time to do it? And I said it's now. And again, another question is that, you know, how do you align with your business and digital strategy? Okay, hopefully these are some answers to it. Now, how Singapore addresses that it rests from the top at the very highest level, at the parliament level, where ministers discuss and say, how are we going to respond to the digital technologies and transformation? Okay, so it's not a technical question. The question, therefore, is how Singapore need to respond to this. So the answer has to come from the politicians themselves. All right, so they have lots of discussion. There was two main ministries and two sub-ministries came in to form a main committee, and they developed the whole we call it the Singapore Digital Economy Framework for Action. Okay, so we define this whole thing. All right, so under A, okay, the Singapore Digital Economy Framework for Action defines why do we need to address, how Singapore need to adapt digital technologies for survival, especially our economic pursuit. All right, so we need to define the what, the how, and what are the how we're going to do the transformation.